Hey guys, Ryan with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana, and I have a very special guest, a good friend of mine, my elevator buddy that I met in the elevator in Atlantic City at my very first ever card show at the National. He made me walk down the boardwalk with a bum knee and a torn hamstring just so he could tell me about his collection and tell me about his cards, and more importantly, tell me about the company that we're going to talk about today that he is the CEO and the founder and owner of, and it is called Veriswap. I've got Raymond Lee hailing from the great continent / country of Australia. Raymond, welcome to the show. I'm excited to chat with you today. What's up?
How's it going, Brian? Hello from Sydney, Australia. I recently moved here about a month ago, so Veriswap is technically Australian based now. That's
awesome. What are the odds and what other hobbies are out there where some guy from Baton Rouge, Louisiana on a random Tuesday night could chat with some guy in Australia about cards and about a company that's new into the hobby? We're talking about basketball cards, and we're continents away. We are literally as far away from each other as we could possibly get, I think.
Yeah, gotta hold down both sides of the globe. You on one side, and me on the other side. But it's a pleasure to be on today.
Two questions for you. Number one, where in Australia? Where are you in Australia?
I'm in Sydney.
Okay.
So it's on the east coast of Australia. Just think about it as like, the LA of Australia. There's a lot of beaches. Also a pretty big city. It's amazing.
Let me tell you, the one thing I learned real quick in this hobby, and I can name drop right now, there's some badass collectors in Australia. There is definitely a huge hobby presence in Australia. I think all of the collectors in the rest of the world have a great respect for some of the collectors in Australia, specifically Michael Jordan card collectors. I have definitely come to the conclusion that some of the biggest whales out there in the Jordan market live in Australia. Have you run into any of those guys? I mean, do you have guys that you run with? I know you just got there, so you may not have crossed paths yet, but be on the lookout. They got some monster Jordan collectors in Australia, my man.
Yeah, I've heard. I've met a few collectors. I've met Ed Lee, Drew in Australia. We met up for lunch the other day. I'm actually going to a card show this Saturday, so I'll report back to see what it's like.
It's gonna be nice to kind of grow.
I've never been to one in a different country. Yeah,
me neither. I've only been in one in my life, right? And Atlantic City felt like a different country from where I'm from. But I'm actually going to a card show this weekend as well. I'm going to Big Dallas show, which is I think a quarterly show. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get down there and meet a lot of people and kind of rinse and repeat and take what I learned at the Atlantic City show and apply it. I've got some nice cushiony shoes. I'm going to pace myself, so I can make it through the whole show. But I got a full Friday and a full Saturday all day to walk the floor, shake some hands, kiss some babies, and meet some people. I loved that about Atlantic City. Just get a chance to meet you and so many other people in the hobby. I loved it, man. I loved it. My next question, I said I had two questions. My other one was, where did you move from? Where were you before you moved to Australia?
I was in New York. So when you met me, I was living in New York for about a month and a half. I just had lived there for 8 years before. Wanted to, kind of stay there, build Veriswap while I was, preparing for the National. My co-founder is there too. So it just helped to all be in person as well.
I got you. Well, so what brought you to Australia? How did you go from New York to Australia, man?
Let me tell you, that's a very good question, Brian. I visited in 2019. Okay. I was actually going to move here in 2019 and do cards full time. I absolutely fell in love with this place. I mean, it's just beautiful, awesome beaches, a lot of nature, but also there's a city aspect. I feel like there's no other city in the world that has both the beaches and such a big city at the same time. I can't name a single one off the top of my head. Except for Sydney. So for those of you guys listening, would definitely recommend checking out Australia. It's a little bit far from everything, but guarantee the 15-hour flight is totally worth it.
Yeah, it's not on the way anywhere, but the destination
not on the way anywhere.
It's worth the 15 hours from what I've heard. When I think of Sydney, I am like an ignorant person from Louisiana, but when I think of Sydney, I think of that music hall or concert hall or whatever it is in the picture of it. Yeah, whatever it's called. Yeah, that's what I think of when I think of Sydney, and the bridge, the bay, and all that stuff. And so I'm geographically challenged if you get outside the United States. But that's fantastic, man. Well, look, good luck in Australia. And I know you're going to meet tons of really great collectors down there because I've gotten to meet them, virtually, albeit, but gotten to meet them down there as well. So tell me about just generally speaking. I'm going to ask you who, what, where, when, why questions. How'd you get in? First of all, when did you get in the hobby?
When in the hobby? That's an interesting question. I think it depends on kind of like perspective. So growing up, I'd always collected cards. I actually grew up in Shanghai, China, and Pokemon was really big there in the early 2000s. So my friends and I, we would, watch all the Pokemon movies, play all the Pokemon games, trade Pokemon as well as the physical Pokemon cards. Yeah. So was really involved in Pokemon at a really young age. Similar story to everyone else. I mean, kind of just forgot about cards, for the next 20 years of my life, until fast forward to, I would say, 2 years after graduating from college. I was working in a finance job that I absolutely hated. I was working 15 hours a day from like 8 a.m. to 1 a.m.
What year was that, Ray? What year was that, man?
This is in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah. And I kind of just like took this job because I didn't really know like where I was going with my life. It was just kind of like the plum job that everyone had like wanted out of college. And I kind of just did it because everyone else was doing it. Like I didn't really think too much about it. Right. I was miserable. I quit after like 8 months. I was like, I can't deal with this anymore. Yeah. And one day I was just sitting at home applying for jobs, and I was on LinkedIn and I saw this Gary Vee article where he posted about his top card investments. The Fleer Jordan, the 2013 Giannis Prism, the Fleer Jordan sticker. Yeah. Fleer Jordans back then were $30K each, to give you a frame of reference.
I was there.
You were there.
I was in that world.
Yeah. I can tell from your background, it's got the 86. But yeah, from that point on, joined some Facebook groups, started talking with people. I just had a blast. Just like, I was talking with like one of my first friends, Kelly. He's like this guy from Montana. We would just like literally like spend like all night just chatting about cards, eventually about life. And he convinced me to go to the National that year. Yeah. So went to the National, met a ton of really, really cool people, got to see the cards in person. I mean, you probably experienced the same thing, Ryan, but like, I feel like going to a card show in person, especially the National, makes the experience so much better and so much more fun.
Yeah. Well, it substantiates it. It validates what we do to get into that room. And it's shock and awe. And I can only speak from the one National card show, but like when you walk into that room, you're like, yeah, there's a lot more people like me than I thought. Like, this is just a fraction of the people worldwide. These are the people who actually have the means and the access and the proximity to come to Atlantic City of all places. It's 1 out of 100 people doing what we do worldwide. So it just kind of validates what we do to see this many people that share our similar interests. It was awesome. Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely had an awesome experience, and yeah, like the same thing like you said, just like validating interest. Like no one I know collects pictures of sweaty men on cardboard, right? Apart from like people that I have met at the met at shows, or like have met on Facebook. But yeah, just having that firsthand experience in person, I think that's what set me off. So I just kind of like did more and more. At first I just wanted to make some side income to support myself while I was searching for jobs. But eventually, I dug deeper and deeper and just kind of became obsessed with it. Yeah. So fast forward a few years, I did the whole like buy raw grading thing. I was probably like one of the biggest PSA submitters at one point. Like I would submit like probably 1,000 cards a week. So
you're big time, man. You dwarf me. I thought I had a horrible addiction. 1,000 cards a week. What were you submitting? Base Prism? That was the move, right?
Base Prism, but also like higher end cards.
So you were a step ahead. You were a step ahead.
Zion mosaics, like Zion mosaic silvers, like those types of things. It was like a mix of everything back when like it was hot. So like I would like in 2020, like I lived in LA. I would like drive down to PSA every week and hand them the cards, and then I would like literally just like once I picked them up, I would ship them back home because couldn't carry them. And then, just like deal with them that way. And then, that was in PSA, had like very long turnaround times. And then, eventually after that, I started getting into like flipping. By then I had like done cards full time. So I was like, I need to support myself. So I was flipping cards for about a year after that. And I think after doing that for a year, I felt like I wanted to expand to something else where I would like solve a problem in the hobby. Like, for example, like when I was trading cards, I found it like really annoying to like have to like, chat up one person at the same time. And it was like a very manual process. So I wanted to think of ways to like reduce the time that it took to trade cards, make offers, and ultimately close deals.
Yeah.
So that was a very long-winded story, but if you have any questions about like any step of that.
Your story is very similar to my story. I made my money in this hobby, my seed money in this hobby by buying raw base Prism rookie cards, grading them with PSA, and then selling them. And it was like shooting fish in a barrel. Do they say that in Australia or LA or New York? It was like shooting fish in a barrel.
I've heard that. Yeah.
It was really easy, right? You get a fish in a barrel, you shoot them with a gun. It's a shotgun. It was that easy, man. Look, buying De'Aaron Fox base Prism for $3.
Yep.
Grade the card, get a PSA 10, and sell it for $90, right? It doesn't sound like a lot of money, but that's, after you pay your grading fee, that's freaking 9x, So, and back then, PSA was handing out 10s like candy, man. Yeah. I mean, you know that. If you were doing what I was doing in 2018 and 19, you were getting 65, 75, 80, sometimes 80% PSA 10s. Fair?
Yeah. What's your record? What's your record, by the way? Like, what was the highest percentage you got out of every?
The highest I ever received was 81 point something percent. I'm a nerd. I got spreadsheets. I know you would be similar. What was your record?
I went like 49 out of 50 once. It was ridiculous.
See, don't tell me there's not pop control going on or some type of change.
I photos in my phone. I was like,
it was too easy, man. It was too easy. And, people are like, what should I do to make money? I was like, man, take a time machine to 2018. You could have bought damn near anybody. You could have bought Gary Trent and made a fortune. You could have bought anybody you wanted. Pascal Siakam, fill in the blanks. It doesn't even matter. All you needed to do was put them in slabs, and then you were going to get a humongous premium. And, some of us who got lucky, we were doing it with Doncic and Donovan Mitchell and Tatum and the guys that actually not only did you get that margin from taking a card from raw, grading it, and selling it as a 10, but because PSA turnaround times, Raymond, were so long, well, Doncic went from a prospect to an all-NBA guy by the time I got my damn cards back. And so now you got a $400 card that you paid $8 or $9 for. I mean, that is nuts, right? That doesn't exist now. I still think, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I still think, and I'm doing it, there is a buy raw, grade, flip move to be made out there. And you can make great margins doing that. You just can't buy the same stuff that you were buying back in 2018 and 19. You've just got to adapt and change the card that's in the slab, but that money is still there. That margin is still there to be made, I think. Do you agree?
I think so. I definitely agree. You need to be more careful, right? Like, you got to be more careful with the cards that you buy. I would say like maybe buying raw and grading is not the best. Maybe like crossing over, probably the better move, right? If you have like a BGS 9, you're like, okay, like, this 9 could possibly be a PSA 10 or like a PSA 9.
Yeah.
Right. I think there's definitely a move to be made there. Maybe with like the lower, maybe with like the I wouldn't say like lower end grading companies, but the grading companies that are like probably like not as popular. Maybe there's like a move to be made there for like the cheaper cards.
Agreed. CSG 9s. CSG
9 is definitely above raw, right? Like
definitely. Yeah. Crack them and see what happens. It's worth a shot. You miss every shot you don't take. I'm with you. I'm jealous of you because there are so many nights where I go to bed and I'm like, God, I wish I could get in this damn hobby full time. I have so many ideas and so many experiments. I want to go buy 50 Jason Tatum silver CSG 9s and BGS 9s and crack them and submit them to PSA and just see what happens. I just want to see what happens and then make a video and share it with everybody else. Because I think a lot of people out there are inquisitive like we are, and we want to know, like if we do a huge sample size, what happens here? You know, is there a margin? I've got all sorts of ideas about whether, you know, there's ways to make money in the hobby. I just don't have the time to experiment it, and time is not on my side because I do have to feed my family and my kids, and so I had to keep my day job. Are you full time in the hobby? Are you full time Veriswap and cards and all full time hobby?
Yeah.
I'm jealous. Well.
But yeah, maybe if you take this like high risk content move, maybe you'll become the next YouTuber with 1 million subs, and you'll be able to feed your family that way.
Yeah, I'm only 998,000 subs short of where I need to get to quit my full-time job that I've been doing for 20 years, and I'm not complaining. I have a very, very good job that's very flexible and allows me to spend lots of time on cards and kids and wife. So it's a good situation for me. So I'm not
complaining. Good mix of everything.
All right, so you got in. You have a very similar story to me. I mean, buy raw grade flip. You know, it was that easy. Did you get out of the buy raw grade flip game? And when you were saying you were flipping cards, are you also buying slab cards, trying to buy low, sell high, or trying to buy low, hold, and sell high? Are you making those types of moves, or is it primarily involving a grading company and then trying to get your margin through the grading?
Yeah, it was mainly through grading raw, but I also did the thing where, you know, I'd crack 9s, PSA 9s, BGS 9s, and try to like submit them or resubmit them.
Yeah.
And then, you know, hope for a 10. And honestly, like I feel like that was maybe even like more successful because a lot of the raw cards that I got like had problems with them. But you know, a 9 you at least like know is not that bad.
At least you know it's not a PSA 7. Well,
at least you know it's not a PSA 7. Yeah.
We hope.
I've had stories of 7s going to 10s though. But that's
hey, I hope to have a story. I got some Jordan Kenner starting lineups that got like PSA 5s and 6s. I did a video on it. I said, you know what? I'm not standing for this. There's no way this is a 6. I cracked it and I resubmitted it. I filmed it, everything. I've got a great before and after video coming. I know I'm going to get a 9. Now, if I get a PSA 9, it'll be a home run. What's the most, Raymond? What's the most you've ever resubmitted the same card to PSA?
Like most number of times?
Yeah. Same card.
Good question. Probably like 5 or 6.
Tell me about it. Tell me that.
However, there's no like I feel like it kind of like became a point where it was like too tough to track. But on average, like I would say I probably averaged three per card for like the non-numbered stuff.
Yeah.
And then I would so like back then you used to be able to do minimum grade 10s. So you wouldn't have to track them if they didn't grade out. You could just like, you know, just take it out, put it back in, and then put a new card saver, and then, you know, roll it back up again. Yeah. Obviously now it's a little bit tougher. Now they track serial numbers. I don't know if you've like tried to like submit like a serial numbered card before, but like for ones that are like graded, you know, out of 25 or lower, usually they'll track the serial number.
Do they? I've wondered if they did. So let's say I got a Damian Lillard gold 8 number serial. We're not talking about cert number on the slab. We're talking about the actual serial number of the card. A Damian Lillard gold 8 out of 10 stamped. If I crack that from PSA slab, resubmit it to PSA, they know they've graded that before. They keep track of that.
If it was graded recently, yes. But if it was
like it was
graded in like 2012, probably not.
Well, let me just tell you. So here's why I don't know about that. And let me tell you why. Because I just did that with an Anthony Simons orange that I had. There was a PSA 9. I graded it in 2018, okay, when I bought it. Came back PSA 9. I held it for 4 years. And I just had it, and I was like, you know what? It's down to $18. Or it's like 22 or something. I was like, I'm just going to crack it out and just try it. It's worth another 22 because an orange Anthony Simons rookie PSA 10 is like a $2,000 card or something stupid. Yeah. And then a PSA 9 is like $400 or $500. Yeah. And I'm like, why wouldn't I try this? Hell yeah, I'm going to try it. So I cracked it and sent it. I got a 10. And it's serial numbered out of 49. So maybe
the first time, right?
Yeah, but maybe that's it. Maybe the first submission was just before they started tracking serial numbers. Yeah, that's probably.
I think they only started tracking the serial numbers probably like earlier this year.
Okay.
They used to send like Post-it notes being like, oh, like this, you know, Herbert Gold out of 10 used to have this serial number. But I think now they just stopped doing it. Now they just started just like re-slamming with the old grade and just charging people for it. So
they want the money. Yeah, they want the money. I don't blame them.
Yeah, I would too if I were PSA.
Of course. Well, the lesson there is go buy case hits that don't have serial numbers, right? Go buy Auroras and Cornerstones and Kabooms and crap like that.
Cornerstones, Kabooms. Yeah. Which one's your favorite out of those case hits, by the way?
I like Blank Slate. I like Aurora. I don't really like Downtowns or Kabooms. That's just me. I'm not the most cartoony type person. I don't like that mixture of. I know a lot of people like the comic book feel to those. I don't really personally like it. That's just my opinion. I like Blank Slates. I like Auroras. Those kind of stand out to me. Those are the ones that I probably like the most. I really like the Auroras, and that's really the only Court King card that I like. A Color Blast, obviously, I love Color Blast.
Color Blast is cool. Yeah, I think Color Blast is awesome. Yep. I think the Auroras, like, I personally like cards that have that are dark but have like really perfect corners. Mm-hmm. So like the Aurora, the Court King's level 4, like the Luka in a PSA 10 is a pop 1. Like I think that card is really underrated. Yeah, but it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I like Court Kings. I've never, I think maybe I've opened one box of Court. I'm not a huge wax ripper. And it's not really on my list of target products, but it's growing on me. I like it, and back then in 2018 and Luka's year in 2017, those were on-card autos, I think, on everything, right? And then they've got that canvas texture on the cover. Those are beautiful cards, man. I've got a nice Luka Doncic Heir Apparent Ruby gem numbered to 99 that I've got that I just put on Instagram. It's one of the few Lukas I have left. I kind of cashed out a Luka at the peak, which is it's a blessing and a curse. It's great because I make great money, but it's a curse because I'm like, I really like Luka. I really think he's special, and I'd like to hold him long term, but I still think there's so damn many, man. There's just so many options for Luka rookies. I just worry about all these ultra modern prospects after 2017. There's just so many printed and so many options. I'm not really sure what's going to stick 10, 12 years from now. And it's hard to we think gold is, we know one of ones, but like shit, there's 150 101 Doncic rookie cards. That's a lot.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. Yeah. And the printing is only going to expand. There's only going to be more and more of it as like new products come out, right? As people find like more ways to monetize.
Well, we hope, Fanatics rolls in here sooner rather than later and maybe expedites this transition. And then maybe maybe we're naive, man. Look, maybe we're naive, but I would like to think they've listened to the pulse of the hobby, because I think the overwhelming feedback from guys like us, and I think I speak for most people, is more is not better. More is worse. Like, don't print as many of each product. Don't print as many products. Don't make as many parallels. Don't make as many fake jersey patches. Like, just give us quality over quantity and let the hobby sort out what the true value is and which parallels, we want. I mean, I think 8 is an awesome number for the number of parallels, 8, something like that. 4 might not be enough. Like 2012 Prism, you've got the silver, green, and gold. That's it. That's all you got, and then 2013, a little bit more, and then it just starts doubling and it just goes ad infinitum. And so I'm hoping that Fanatics will maybe listen to us and really do a nice, sample of what the hobby wants in a survey and make some better decisions and kind of return us to those Topps Chrome days where there's just not as many parallels out there. So,
I definitely agree. I feel like it also makes like entering the hobby a lot easier, right? When you only like see that it's not as overwhelming when you see like the checklist only has like 8 or 10 parallels versus like, I don't even know.
It's impossible. Raymond, it's impossible. Like to collect Prism. If a new person came to you, look, you and I have been doing this for years, right? I mean, years and years, and we feel like we have a pretty good grasp of the hobby. But if a new person came to you and said, hey, I want to collect Prism basketball, talk me through the parallels. It's impossible. Like there's so many parallels just in Prism. But guess what? There's also Prism Choice. Guess what? There's also Prism Fast Break. I mean, when you add up all the parallels from all the Prism products, and now they're coming out a year and a half, 2 years after the people's rookie year, it's like, what are we doing here, man? Just make less products. Stop making Chronicles and stop making Recon and just make the next year's product. Like if the complaint is we don't have access to printers because of COVID or whatever supply chain crap, whatever excuse you want to make up, just don't make those products. Make the products that people care about. Just instead of making 35 basketball products, make 12.
Yeah.
They matter. Make sure everyone should matter,
Everyone's happy. There's quality, right?
Yeah.
I think the hobby needs to take a step in that direction, because I think we're starting to see the effects of like overprinting, right? Like there's all these like random parallels. I still think like the whole like jersey versus non-jersey thing, like I think people should care about it. So sorry, the game worn versus non-game worn.
Yeah,
I feel like people should care about it, but they don't care about it enough.
I think they're burying their head in the sand. You got to be kidding me if you don't care if that really is. That's like saying you don't care if that's really his autograph or a facsimile. Like, yeah. Like, why do we want a fake autograph or a fake patch? Like, that doesn't make any sense. You know, I get it. The card does look the same. Aesthetically, staring at the card, it looks the same. You know, whether Luka signed it or his mom signed it, it looks the same. But I'd like to know that Luka signed the card. I'd like to know that, you know. I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority on that one. But, well, tell me this. Here's a random question. I'm putting you on the spot. You said you vaulted your cards before we came on air. What vault do you keep your cards in?
I spread them across. So usually, like, if I want something to store for the longer term, I'll store it at PWCC.
Okay.
If I want to get like a quick shipment, I'll store them at alt. Main reason for that is like the turnaround time has to be a little faster. And then I also store some stuff at the collector's vault.
The PSA vault. Okay, so what's your experience been? I'm real familiar with PWCC because that's where all my stuff is. I put all my eggs in one basket for right or wrong. Little brain, less stuff to understand, less usernames and passwords, less confusion. So, and I'm super OCD, so I like to have all my stuff in one spot. Tell me your experience with the alt vault. Has it been positive, negative, good, bad? What's our pros and what's our cons? What's different about the alt vault than, say, PWCC, which I am familiar with?
That's a good question. Overall, my experience has been very positive. They unpack the packages in a day. They'll have everything scanned. Haven't had any issues with that. When I withdraw something, like, it's cheaper than PWCC. I think the withdrawal fee, it constantly changes, but right now it's capped at like $30 max per card per shipping, plus shipping. Yeah. So usually it'll cost like, $60 to withdraw a card, which like isn't bad at all.
Oh no, yeah.
What else? So I usually use them for speed. I think also like when I ship them out to customers, the card is like nicely packaged, so they. People like opening the unboxing experience, right? Yeah,
the feedback they give you from the shipments that you send from your alt vault to them when you sell a card is positive.
Exactly. Yeah. However, previously I didn't store that many cards in a vault. Mainly because I like seeing the cards in person. These cards are like my PC cards. If I'm sitting in front of the computer, like I want to be able to like see them, right? Yeah. Otherwise, I just buy an NFT. Like I can just save that image on my computer, right? I also like used to go to a lot of shows. Like I used to bring them in like a Pelican case and like buy and sell them, which is why I didn't want to like deal with the whole like back and forth shipping process. Yeah.
I think a lot of people have a hesitancy to use the vault for that exact reason. Like that's the biggest drawback to the vault is you don't have your babies, right? You don't have them in your hands. You can't look at them and it's it is a necessary evil if you're vaulting. But what I think a lot of people who are anti-vault or who haven't yet like given it a chance, what they don't realize is, like, if I want a card out of my vault in my hand, like to go to the Dallas show, I'm going to the Dallas show this weekend. As late as Monday of this week, I could have said, you know what, PWCC, here, I want this card. I want to bring these 7 cards to the Dallas show and try to, haggle and transition and get these cards moved or trade, buy, sell, trade, whatever. I could have got them in time. I could have got them in 48 to 72 hours if I wanted to. And so I think a lot of people think there's this permanency, like if they're in the vault, they're in the vault. You're never going to get to look at them. That's not true. You got to pay a few bucks, but I mean, it's really not that expensive, like you said. And it's awesome that alt caps your submission request fee at $30 plus shipping. That's pretty good. Now, what about Collector's Vault? How's that been? I know they're new as well. Everything's been good with them as far as interface, platform, and all that stuff.
Yeah, pretty easy to use. The cases where I've used them is like I've sent kind of like as a test is to ship cards that are graded by PSA directly to the Collector's Vault in Delaware. Right now they have some sort of promo where it's like it costs $1 to like withdraw the card. However, I think down the road the fee is about 3% if the card is kept in the vault for less than fewer than 90 days, and I think it's like some sort of like tax reason. But yeah, like my experience is pretty positive. It did take a little longer to get my card, but the card came safely. And that's cool. Kind of the only thing that I want.
So for practical purposes, and I'm thinking through this the way I am, so I've got 2 addresses on eBay, right? So if I'm buying a raw card, usually if Cajun Cardboard's buying a raw card, the reason I'm buying it is I intend to grade it. I'm a graded card collector only. So if I'm buying a raw card, I have it shipped to Baton Rouge. So I have that address saved as one of my primary addresses in eBay. I also have PWCC saved because I'm buying a card for my collection and it's already slabbed. Then I will have those cards shipped directly to PWCC. So I have 2 options for what address my shipping address is on eBay. Do you use now 4 options? Is that how you do it?
4 options.
Like alt's one shipping address. PSA is another shipping address. PWCC Vault is a shipping address, and then your home address if you buy a raw card. Or how do you coordinate that? Like if you play the buy raw grade flip game, where are you having your raw cards shipped? Just out of curiosity, like from a practical standpoint.
Yeah, that's a good point. I actually haven't played the buy raw and flip game in probably like a year and a half.
Oh wow, okay.
So yeah, so like in the past year and a half, my time was probably spent 50-50, like buying and selling graded stuff, and then working on Veriswap.
Yeah.
And then since March/April of last year, I've been working on Veriswap full time.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a great transition. So I wanted to bring you on the show, and I always have to say this: Veriswap doesn't pay me. Raymond's not paying me unless he wants to. I'll give you my address just in case you want to send a check. But Raymond's a friend of mine, and we've talked about Veriswap, and he's had me on his show, which was a blast, and I'm sure we'll do it again one way or the other on one of our shows. But I wanted to have you on here because you're my friend, and I've come to respect and trust you in the hobby, and I want you to have a platform to talk about your company. Anytime somebody has the balls and the courage to go start a new company in the hobby, I applaud them, man. And I want to give you every opportunity to kind of talk to people that watch my show. They know that I don't BS them. I don't have anybody on my show that I don't have faith in or trust or endorse. But I did want to say there's no monetary incentive for me to endorse Veriswap. I don't even have, and I'll have to make an admission here, I don't even have a free account with Veriswap yet, but we're going to get set up. Raymond's going to get me set up after the show. But I wanted you to kind of share your screen, bring the people through, pretend that these people watching the show are as dumb as me. They're not, but pretend they have absolutely no experience whatsoever with Veriswap. Teach us like we're 6-year-old children. Take us through the tutorial. We want to know more about what it's about, how to get involved with it, why I even need Veriswap. What does it bring to the table? And just kind of walk us through that process, Raymond. I mean, who better to walk us through the process than the CEO of the company? So tell us about Veriswap and let me ask some dumb questions along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to walk everyone through how to use it. I can share my screen right now and then walk through on a high level. So let's see. So for those of you guys who don't know, Veriswap is the first. Can you see this?
Let me pull it up. Hang on. Add to stream. Yeah. Okay. Now we got it. Yeah. There we go. Okay.
Cool. So Veriswap is the first platform where users can swap cards online. This is a place where people can trade card for card or do partial cash deals. And my main motivation for creating this was so that I could bring the trading experience at shows, the trade night experience like everyone really loves, to something that people can do like 7 days a week when they're at their day job, right? Yep. That was kind of like my inspiration behind this and something that I felt really passionate about. So this is our homepage. We currently have $20 million in cards listed. We have about 3,000 cards and about 1,300 users. So this is what it looks like. We can basically just like scroll down, look at cards that people list.
So these are cards on your screen right now. You're scrolling through cards. These are not all the same owner. This is not like one owner showcase. These are just all sorts of cards that are on Veriswap listed for sale and or trade.
Correct.
Okay. What if I just want to buy a card? Is that
offers too?
Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't need to be card for card or card and cash for card. It could actually be just straight up cash for card, like buy.
Exactly. Yep.
Awesome. Okay.
It's also you can also use it to buy lots. For example, like on eBay, you can't really buy multiple cards at the same time.
Yeah.
Right.
One shipping fee, right? For you, like if I buy from Veriswap, I can combine 4. I could get you to ship me 4 cards through Veriswap. Well, let me ask you this question. So this is the first dumb question. People are going to say, well, where are these cards? These cards are not at Veriswap's vault. They're not at Raymond's house in Sydney, Australia. These are still sitting in these people's collections and or vaults, but Veriswap is an intermediary where the card kind of passes through Veriswap, and the Vera part is you guys verifying the authenticity, the condition, the slab, and all that stuff, right, in the middle of the transaction. So you're like a middleman, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So we believe that collectors as well as resellers, want their cards in hand. So once a deal is agreed upon, both parties will ship their cards to Veriswap headquarters. We'll inspect it, make sure that everything is good. We'll 100% ensure the shipping. So if something goes wrong, we'll pay for everything. And then we'll ship the cards to the right party. So awesome. Yeah. So basically the way it works is, sorry, continue.
Yeah, I was gonna say I see some real bangers on the screen. Like I see that Vegas LeBron card, and I'm like, oh god, that looks good. What was the grade on that one?
Yeah, we have some pretty nice cards here. So this is what it looks like when you like pull open a card. You can view the person's inventory. You can see what they want. You can also propose a trade.
Yep.
So you can see all the cards that they have. Right.
That's cool. So you could list, with your cards, you could list almost a request, almost like in a fantasy basketball league. When you list somebody on the trading block, you can say, look, I need steals, and you can say that in these cards. You could list, football cards and say, look, I'm only looking for Jordan stuff in return. And you kind of give people and walk them down the path of what you'd be looking for in return for a trade. That's a really, really cool option. That's a real thoughtful option right there. Kind of get you to the finish line quicker as far as the negotiation goes. That's really cool.
Yeah, I think especially for especially for collectors like you, right, who are like more particular with what they want. Like you collect mainly Jordan, right? So we'll just pick this Jordan. You can kind of like confine your preferences so that people don't offer you, say for example, Curry or something, right? Card that you're not interested in. So yeah, you pick cards that you're interested in from one user's side, and then you pick cards that you're interested from your side. So these are my PC cards.
Whoa, that's your cards right there?
Yeah, they're not PC cards. They're just cards that I still own.
Well, we're going to have to talk about that orange Giannis up there in the top left. No, I don't have that card yet. Unfortunately, yours is a BGS 10 slab, damn it, which is probably a little out of my wheelhouse, but we'll talk later. You never know. I might have something you need.
Yep. It'll be a live transaction on Veriswap. But yeah, these are cards that we can offer straight away. So say I want to offer this Meyer and this, Edwards gold, right?
Yeah.
Now there's cards on both sides of inventory. You can also add cash. So say, for example, the trade is unbalanced. I want $50,000 in cash.
Yeah.
And then we click propose trade, and then it'll send an offer to the other person. So we actually handle all the cash payments. So we use something called Stripe, which is basically we believe it's a little bit better than PayPal. They pay out faster. They don't freeze accounts. So this money gets deposited into your bank account. And, we handle all of that processing.
I'm familiar with Stripe. I used Stripe. I have a couple of other businesses here in town that one of my friends manages that I'm the owner of, and we use Stripe for our mobile payments. So we'll provide a service, for instance, a pressure washing business and a car detailing business, in those businesses, the customers often trying to pay you at the site of the service at their house or whatever. And you've got that little Stripe machine, you can run it, but Stripe was great. It was super user friendly, easy to use. Super solid from a privacy standpoint. I think it's really, really popular, especially amongst mobile service providers in America for sure. So Stripe's got a great reputation in the business for sure. That's a fact. That's a fact. Tell me, and I know you're going to get there. Let's say I wanted to sign up. How much does it cost for me to sign up to be on Veriswap?
Nothing. So sign up is free. Your first trade is $1. Okay. We charge fees 3%. After the first trade, but we want you to, experience the product for yourself, see if you like it before you actually pay.
Okay, and say it again. What was the fee?
It's 3% of the trade value.
Okay. So do you pay? So there's two sides on this trade, let's say, right? And so you've got the trader A, trader B. If they're both 50,000, they each come up with 3% of 50,000.
3% of the total trade value. So
okay, so you combine both sides, and they each pay 3% of that.
Yeah, it's approximately that. There are the fee goes down from 3 to 2% for amounts after $10,000. So it's kind of like eBay's, where like the fee goes down as the amount goes up. But it's approximately 3%.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. And for those people watching, scroll down. If you're watching the video, don't stop the video. But at the end of the video, I'm going to have a link to Raymond's tutorial that he posted on YouTube. I'm going to have that in the body of my description. And then I'm also going to link to the website for Veriswap. But the website's dummy proof, right? It's veriswap.com. I mean, you can't miss that. Yep. I found it right away. It's the first thing that came up. So just search Veriswap on your Google search engine. What else, Raymond? Tell us. Okay, so 3% fee. You can not only trade, you can trade in cash, or you can just straight up buy cards. You can buy multiple cards. So I could send an offer to Mr. X for 4 of his cards for $12,000, and he's free to accept, reject, or I'm assuming counter offer. In which case, then I'll have the opportunity to accept, reject, or counter offer. And then when a deal's consummated, those cards and my money fly through the air, theoretically, to the Veriswap, right? And you guys actually then take physical possession of those cards. Correct? And then, and then your team inspects those cards to make sure they are what they are purported to be and what the buyer bargained to purchase. And then from there, you guys repackage those cards and then ship them insured to the buyer?
Correct. Yeah. So we'll pay for the second leg of shipping as well.
Awesome. That's really cool. Okay. It sounds like this would be extremely beneficial for high-end deals, maybe international, especially international high-end deals where you want that middleman security and certainty that you're getting exactly what you're buying, especially if it's your first time with a transaction with this particular vendor or this particular trading partner. Is that fair?
Correct. Yeah. Right now we're US only, but we plan on expanding to Canada next, and then completely opening up to international customers down the road. Okay.
Got it. Okay. What's the biggest card y'all have ever swapped? Don't, if you can't reveal the card, just reveal the amount.
It was actually public on our Instagram story.
Awesome.
It was a trade that was approximately $60,000 in value on each side, so about 120K total value. It was a 2003 LeBron Topps Contemporary Gold out of 25 BGS 9 on one side, and then the other side was a bunch of like other cards that I'm not.
Ben Simmons Prism base.
I can't remember. Ben Simmons Prism. It was probably like 6 or 7 cards that were probably.
No, it was 500 Ben Simmons base Prism PSA 9s.
Yeah,
deal. You had to ship it in a container. One of those cargo containers.
We do armor trucks only here for over 100 cards.
Hey, look, I've seen that LeBron Gold Contemporary Collection. That's a beautiful card, man. Very simple, very elegant, and the gold is a banger. That's a huge card. That's an awesome deal right there. By the way, tell the people how they can follow Veriswap on Instagram.
Yeah. So our Instagram name is @Veriswap. And you can actually see a feed of transactions that we've done in the past. So the ones that say real transaction are transactions that we've middleman.
Awesome.
This month we've middleman $900,000 in transactions, hopefully to close in 1 million by the end of the month.
You're gonna do it, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, you can take a look at the transaction activity. A lot of people they hear about us because they're interested in seeing their opinion on deals. So that's where you can find us on social media.
Well, that's exciting. Look, that's one of those deals where, and I'm kind of, I started a channel, right? And I started a brand, and it just takes time for your wheels to stop spinning and gain that traction. And then it gets easier and easier and easier because you got more positive voices out there in the hobby vouching for you. So just like you're getting vouches for these parties on each side, and then you're the middleman verifying the authenticity and the legitimacy of each of these parties, there's people out there like me and some of the people watching this video. They're going to have a better feeling about Veriswap about what they stand for, about the people involved, about getting to hear from the CEO. It's just going to take time, and I believe in you guys. And I know, just from seeing, I know you got the capacity to run this thing because you moderate one of the biggest Facebook pages in the universe, or at least you used to. Are you still a Facebook page moderator as well, Raymond?
Yeah. So I run NBA Hotspot, Bowman Chrome High Roller, as well as my personal group, Asian Cards.
That's awesome. And then tell people how many members that Hotspot page has. I know it's a lot.
It's around 32K.
32,000.
Around 11. Asian Cards, I think, has around 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like you hit it on the head. I think the goal is to transition the Facebook trading activity, which I think is like super inefficient and like unsafe, to the Veriswap platform where everything is 100% secure. You're going to get your cards. There's no chance of you ending up with an empty box.
And look, I'm telling you, here's the deal. The one thing that I've learned in the hobby is that when people out there, Raymond, try to cut corners and save pennies here and there, especially on, relatively high-end transactions, people either, if you're going to do this on your own and you want to kind of say, I don't need Veriswap, I'm on my own, for God's sakes, go over and above, and don't be afraid to vet the people that you're trading and or buying from or selling to. But don't be afraid to spend the 3% to get that peace of mind and that certainty and eliminate that anxiety, and just make sure you're getting what you bargained for. If you're doing a quid pro quo, you want to make sure you're getting what it is you're paying for and or trading for. And so, the next best thing to just making a deal with a dealer at a card show face-to-face is Veriswap. It sounds like to me, it sounds pretty digestible and user-friendly and easy to enter, unlike our hobby. It seems like it's easy to use Veriswap. Should I try to strong arm you and talk to you right now about getting you down on that orange prism, Giannis? Is now the time? You want me to put the pressure on you with all my viewers watching the show?
Let's do it.
Could this be the biggest deal ever done on YouTube?
On the Veriswap platform. Let's take a look. So we have, let's see. Share the screen again.
Pull up your cards. I want to see your showcase. Let's talk about it. We got maybe 13, 14 minutes. Let's just start going through your showcase. And I want to ask you questions about some of the cards that you pull up, if you can get that screen share back up, because you've got a great collection. I mean, that's another thing about my channel is I like to share my collection with people. I like to bring on other monster collectors. You've got the benefit of knowing so many people in the hobby, being the moderator of the page that I'm most familiar with is NBA Hotspot. And there's some absolutely huge cards that I see on there. You're looking at, the Giannis card right there, which you've got relatively fairly valued at 70,000. There's no doubt about that. The 9.5 is probably more in my wheelhouse, but that's a monster card. What's that Kobe right there? That refractor Kobe over here.
Yeah, so this one is, speaking of PC cards, this is one of my PC cards. I bought it on Golden about a year ago. I bought it because there was absolutely no greening. If you look really closely at it.
There's not, and it's a 5?
It's a 5.
What are we waiting on? What are we waiting on? You know what to do with that.
Just crack it out, put it in a one touch. Leave it.
Well, that or send it to BGS or send it back to PSA. There's no way it's going to get a 5 again. That card looks good. Yeah, you're right. There's no greening on that card. That's always the issue. What's the problem? Is there a tack in the back of it or something? The centering looks okay. The back centering looks okay. What's the 5? The
centering looks perfect. Yeah, it looks perfect. I think we graded it at Mike Baker actually, and it got I think it was a black or gold diamond. I don't remember which one it was. But yeah, this is one of my favorite cards I own because it looks beautiful without the greening.
Yeah,
it just looks almost like ghostly blue. And this is one of my favorite cards that I own. So,
well, that's enough on Kobe. I don't collect Kobe, so get him off the screen. What else do we have? I see Acuna there. Okay, I see that's a big exquisite Jordan you've got there, my friend. That's a monster.
Yeah. So this is actually a friend. This is my friend from Australia. We're trying to list some Australian cards on the exchange.
Okay.
But beautiful. Ed, if you're watching this, this is your beautiful 3-color patch, exquisite from 09. It's a BGS 7. The patch on these is pretty tough. I mean, the window is not very big. Usually it's a napkin or it's 2 colors max.
Yeah, to fit 3 in there, fit 3 colors in there is tough. I guess how many exquisite cards I own?
0. Am I right?
You watch my channel. I was just testing you.
I have a good idea of what you collect. I feel like you have good taste.
Yeah. Guess how many I wish I owned? A lot more than 0. Yeah. That's cool, man. Yeah. Keep scrolling. Let's look at some more. What do we have? A Ronaldo over there? Ronaldo patch auto? Another Ronaldo patch auto? Okay.
I really like these cards because it's Ronaldo's only patch auto and it's game worn.
Yeah, you don't see. Yeah, it's flawless, so it's game 1 for sure. You don't see a lot of patch auto soccer cards, at least in my experience. I've started, Raymond, to dabble in the soccer world a little bit. I've kind of stayed in my lane. I've really only messed with Erling Haaland rookie cards and maybe a couple of different variations. But when I do search, you just don't see a lot of patch auto cards out there. I feel like soccer, you got your stickers, obviously, and you got your sticker collectors. But then when you get into the card stuff, people are like hyper focused on, the parallels and the refractors more so than the patch autos, which is a really big deal for like football and basketball card collectors. Patch autos are huge. But I feel like you get more of the chromey, parallel colored, color serial number collectors and stuff like that in soccer.
Yeah. Definitely more of the non-auto sticker stuff. For sure. And then I think a lot of the patch autos in soccer, they're not like patch autos, they're like shoe autos.
Yeah.
You have it's like a picture of like a cutout of a shoe, which I feel like I don't like as much because there's typically not as much color. I like seeing the actual jersey.
Agreed.
What do we have here? So, LeBron credentials. There was a point I owned 4 of them. I took a big bath on a BGS 9.5. That I bought. I think I bought it for 111K on alt. I sold it for 60 something K.
Raymond, no, don't tell me stories like that. Because I've taken a bath on my LeBron cards too, but I'm dollar cost averaging, my friend. I am still buying into this LeBron crash. I am buying into it. I just believe long term. Is that a freaking Diamond Dimensions Jordan?
Diamond Dimensions Jordan.
I'm sorry, not Diamond Dimensions. The Profiles 3. Yes.
So this is also my friend. He's a big Jordan collector in Australia.
That's a big card. What's his name? What's his IG tag?
Ed Lee.
Okay.
Maybe you'll have to reach out to him afterwards.
Yeah, that profile is serial number to 100. That's a big card. And BGS 9 is a good grade for that card, too. That's a big card right there. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and then the Legacy Collection right next to it.
Collection's at a 150. Yeah. So some of the stuff, to be completely honest, is over market value. So we are integrating with market movers by the end of the month to surface the pricing inaccuracy, so you can tell instantly what's fairly valued and what's not.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So we have some Mahomes. I really like
Giannis again.
I like 90s numbered 90s inserts. I think they're really cool.
Of course. What's the deal with the Dominguez kid? I'm not a baseball guy, but I know, he was at the top of the mountain and now he's at the bottom of the mountain. And, in baseball, it's tough to prospect. Where are his cards at? I haven't really looked and I'm not really an expert, but is it just one more year? Did they think he was supposed to be up this year? And it was just he just never was.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of just bought into the hype. This is another example similar to the
that was honest. I don't know. I have no idea who the guy is. Somebody told me he was good, so I bought him.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of you win some, you lose some, right? I think I paid close to $10,000 for it raw, and now it's PSA 10. It's probably worth around 7. Yeah. So
baseball prospect is just different. It's just tough, man. It's just there's so much lag between when you need to buy them and then when they actually get to the damn majors. It's rough, man. It's rough.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a cool Bowman Gold, Kobe. That's a really good looking card right there. 2003 Bowman Chrome Refractor Gold. That's a cool card, Raymond. Yeah.
I love this one. The jersey matches the background of the card.
Of course. Yeah. Those Bowman Chrome Golds look almost better than Topps Chrome Gold to me. They just spark. I saw the LeBron. There was a LeBron 9.5 Chrome Gold that sold recently for a gazillion dollars. And it was just eye-popping, man. That Bowman Chrome Gold, especially from that year. I see your Erling Haaland right there. Okay, that's nice.
The Haaland Sapphire.
Green Sapphire, yeah. Tell me this. If you had to divide yourself, collector and investor, what percentage collector and what percentage investor? And it's okay if you say 0, 100. But just what do you think it is if you looked in the mirror and told the truth?
I would say 0% investor, 30% flip, 70% flipper, and 30% collector. Okay. So I actually don't invest in anything.
You're looking to move every there's a price for everything unless it's something you're going to tuck away forever. So you, by the way, go back up that golden touch right there, PSA 8. We need to talk about that. Is that yours or is that your buddy's?
It's mine.
Okay, good. I might need to talk to you about that. I don't know if you've heard yet, but I am a dumbass, and I have decided, I collect high-end Michael Jordan where I'm trying to get the best cards and the highest grades, and that's very expensive. I have decided to start a secondary Jordan PC in PSA 8 only. Is that weird? So I'm collecting the same cards that I'm trying to get in PSA 10. I'm also going to start a PSA 8 only collection. So I can buy more cards for less money, and it's more fun and more mail days and more sharing and more talking and more variety and just more. And so that's a golden touch. That golden touch PSA 8. We'll talk about that. We might be able to get a deal done.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I really like this card, the Dunkin' Go Nuts.
Yes. Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough card. I looked at picking. I've got a 9.5, and it's real clear. I looked at a PSA 10 in the PWCC Weekly Auction that just closed 2 nights ago from when we're filming this, and it had a little yellowing, so I passed. It was a PSA 10, but it didn't look as good as my 9.5, so I had to pass on that one. Yeah, nice records collection, Jordan down there. I see you got some Lewis Hamilton. You got a Wander Franco autograph refractor. That's cool. We're still waiting on him to show up.
Yep.
How are you doing in your Lewis Hamilton venture here?
I used to have some more higher end stuff, but this stuff from 2021, I feel like people is not super popular. I also feel like the hype around him has kind of slowed down a little bit. He hasn't been doing well this season. I don't think he's won once.
It sounds like the other guy, Verstappen's running the show, huh? Is he just kind of playing?
Yeah, but also, I learned the other day that this is actually his first licensed product. The Futera from 2006 is actually unlicensed, despite how expensive that card is. So
who's your primary PC? Just straight up, hey man, I'm never selling this card. How many cards did you say there's not a price? This is my card. This is my collection. This means too much to me. I'm not selling it. Is there one?
5.
5 of them. Talk to me. What are those 5 cards? We want to know what Raymond the Collector, the very small percentage that's Raymond the Collector. I want to know what those 5 cards are.
Yeah. So that Kobe refractor, even though there's a price on it, would never sell it. Unless the caveat is unless it's a higher grade.
That's right. Okay. Another higher grade is not green. Yeah.
Equally as perfect. Or I haven't seen one yet. Or BJ's 9.5 that's equally as perfect. I would pay through the nose for that. So that card. My favorite set of all time is the 2019 Kobe Select in Flight. Rumor has it that he signed it 2 days before he died.
I heard.
Beautiful on card auto. It's super. It's kind of eerie, right? You have it's literally his last year. He's and it's called In Flight. The design on that is really cool. He's dunking to the left. It's a throwback from 2004 Topps Chrome, 2005 Topps Chrome. Yep. They use the same image. So that is super cool. So I have a couple of those. I have a silver out of 99. I have a gold.
There's a tie-dye out there, which I think, is there not? Is there not a tie-dye from that Select In Flight?
There's a tie-dye, yeah.
Yeah.
I bought a few of those before. I think back in my grading days, I graded probably half of that population. Because I was literally trying to grab it.
I can say that I've done that with certain cards too. Not that important, but I've done the same thing. In fact, I think I had 90% of the Anthony Simons population
right
all Prism at one point. I think I was the
we all have our stories.
Yeah.
So that card, the gold, I have one of those.
Yeah.
I want to get more, but they're kind of expensive. I think the last 9.5 did $45K.
Oof. What?
Because people really like it as last year. It's kind of
they know it's his last autograph. Yeah, most people are looking for the first. Well, Kobe and his untimely passing. The last also matters, man. Yeah, for sure. What else?
I want the black one of one.
Yeah.
The black one of one is I actually don't know if it exists.
Yeah. Kobe's your primary PC then. Kobe's your guy that
on the cards. So those Ronaldo flawless patch autos. I don't think I would sell those. They're kind of listed to on the Veriswap platform, kind of get more eyeballs on it. But I would not sell those. And the main reason for that is just I think they're iconic. It's like beautiful cards. Actually, I kind of changed my mind with what I said earlier. I would say like those are investment cards. So maybe like I'm 10% investor, 70% flipper, and 20% collector.
Yeah.
I'd say like that's probably the accurate breakdown. But like those I think are like great investments. And I'm trying to get more of those. Actually, a true vertical flawless of the Ronaldo flawless patch auto, which I think there's only 10 copies around the world. I've seen one. It's in China.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to chase one of those.
Dude, China's just north of you. Just take a boat right up there. It's right there, man.
Yeah, it'll be easy. Yeah, just go in, pick it up, come back.
Just rent a boat, man. What's the big deal, right? It's just north.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man. That's awesome. You've got some incredible cards. What I'm impressed with is like I've grown my collection and it's like 99.9% basketball. But just that showcase that you showed us is like I saw F1. I saw baseball. I saw baseball prospects. I saw soccer prospect. I saw soccer goats with the Ronaldo patch autos. I saw, Giannis. I saw LeBron, like big time LeBron and Jordan cards. The breadth of your collection is super impressive, man. And that's something that I can't go down that path, but I've been in the hobby long enough to respect the people who can. Like I hit record and I talk about only basketball because my brain is not big enough to speak intelligently and confidently about all the different sports and even understand all the products. So to do what you do, run this company, and then collect so many different types of cards is really impressive, and it's admirable, man. And look, we'll wrap it. It's right at an hour, but you are always welcome on the show. I'd like to have you on maybe in 6 months to kind of touch base and see where Veriswap is. And see where your dollar volume transaction is, and if there's anything new that you've brought to the platform, or any innovative changes or patches that you've put on the software to change it and to upgrade it. And I know for a fact you're gonna have some great stories. Start writing down these trades. Like that's what people want to hear about, right? As long as there's no privacy concerns, we want to see some of the big cards that were traded. And I know the people that watch my channel love to see huge cards, and I know you get to see that a lot. Moderating the NBA Hotspot page. Yeah. By the way, viewers, if you're not on Facebook and Instagram, shame on you. Get on Facebook. Get on Instagram. Go follow Veriswap on Instagram. On Facebook, go check out the NBA Hotspot page. They do tons of really cool stuff. People post cards for sale or trade all the time. It's a great place if you're looking for obscure cards. If you're trying to put a set together, something like that, and you're like, hey, I'm looking for 1998 Intimidation Nation Sean Kemp. I would be shocked if one of those 32,000 members didn't say, hey, I've got 3 of those or something like that. Anything you're looking for, you can find it on that NBA Hotspot page. Raymond, I don't know if I told you this. That was my first page that I ever joined. That was my first experience using social media in the hobby, because I was just the guy who sits at his computer and clicks on eBay and buys cards. I didn't share those cards with anybody. I didn't talk about it with anybody. And then I was on Facebook and I was like, I just searched basketball cards. And for some reason, NBA Hotspot came up and I was like, God dang, there's like thousands and thousands of people on this page. Let me see what it's about. And it was brilliant and it was fantastic. And that took my collecting to the whole next level, because then I could share my cards and find cards that I was looking for. So kudos to that, guys and gals. If you're watching this show, go subscribe to that NBA Hotspot page on Facebook. It's awesome too. And Raymond runs the show with that as well. So Raymond, any last words? Spread those roots in Australia. It's going to take you no time at all to meet some of the GOAT collectors down there, and you're one of them. So it's going to be fun. Make sure you have fun at the show this weekend, and I'll try to do the same. I'm going to try to upload some content for you guys from the Dallas show. And then are you going to a show in Sydney?
In Sydney, yeah.
Oh, God, I'm so jealous. It's right there. I got to drive 7 hours, man.
Drive 7 hours.
It's not the worst. It's not the worst. It's not a 15-hour flight. It's only 7 hours, so I can't complain. And it's one of the biggest shows in the country, so I'm pretty lucky. For once, Baton Rouge, Louisiana is kind of lucky that I'm close to a big show. Most everything else is on the East Coast or West Coast or up north in the Midwest. But so hopefully we'll both have great show experiences and grow our brand a little bit more. If you ever want anything from the Cajun Cardboard channel, man, it's yours. It's an open platform. I appreciate your time and appreciate you joining us. Yeah, absolutely. Really thankful for the opportunity to be on today. I think you asked a lot of really interesting questions. If there's anything that Veriswap or anyone
If anyone has any feedback on the platform, feel free to message me at any time on the Veriswap Instagram account. The only way we can make this product better is if we actually take next steps in accordance with what people actually want versus what we think is good. So
that's it.
Feel free to reach out anytime, either you, Brian, or anyone listening to this. I'm reachable anywhere.
Yeah, and look, if you have any questions about Veriswap or Raymond's collection, just nothing about the orange prism, Giannis. That's mine, so hands off there. But any other questions you have, put in the comments. If you're watching and you want to know something, or maybe I didn't ask a question that I should have just because I'm not familiar enough with it, put those questions in the comments, and we'll check the comments, and I'll put you guys in touch with Raymond, and you can go find him on the Veriswap page on Instagram. Like he said, he's an open book. Great communicator. I've never had a problem hearing back. That's my pet peeve in this hobby, Raymond, is if I send a message to somebody, just respond. Even if your response is no or get lost, just respond. Just don't let it linger there. And so dealing with you is a joy and a pleasure and easy, and you're very responsive just like I am. So I'm sure if you're watching and you want questions, you have questions for Raymond, he's going to get you answers quick and get you the right answer. So as always, thanks for joining the channel. Guys watching and gals, can't tell you how much I appreciate you sharing the time to watch the channel. You could have watched anything you wanted, but you chose to watch this one and listen to me and Raymond bounce some card talk off of each other. Keep collecting, stay positive in the hobby, and peace.